Today's video is about the paragliding area around the Dune du Pilat, a main tourist attraction near Bordeaux at the Atlantic coast of France, known for its dune soaring opportunities. In the video, we will have a look at the Plaque du Petit, which is a dune in the southern part of the area, and at the main area up here next to the campsites. The Plaque du Petit dune has a parking lot about a kilometer distance from it, while the main area can only be accessed by foot or from the campsites. Besides being easier accessible, it might also be a good idea to go there if there's too much traffic on the main side. Takeoff can be done if the wind is from the west and the landing is just besides the dune. Here we now can see the dune. It has a length of about 100 meters and a height of about 25 meters. 10 pilots in the air at the same time is no problem. And if we look to the right, there's also a ridge to the west, which can be used to extend the soaring flight. That's it from the Petit. Let's move to the main area. There's the main takeoff here at the campsite, which is also directed to the west-northwest. The dune itself, of course, is a takeoff everywhere. Same wind direction. And then we have another smaller takeoff from a second camping site, which is located a little bit more in the south of the whole area. Landing can be done everywhere, but normally is done on the dune. The dune itself is a huge playground for all kinds of activities: ground handling, soaring, hill up handling, takeoff and landing. Also, just for doing the first steps of paragliding, the dune is optimal. There are schools available. Due to the slope of the dune, different wind speeds can be managed. The stronger the wind, the further down the exercises can be done. In stronger wind conditions, also hang gliders are found around the area, or the people are using speed flyers or small moustaches. Here we can see the hang glider getting out as if it was a slow motion movie. Now let's proceed to the main takeoff and come back to this area later again. This is now the takeoff at a yellow village campsite, mainly used by tandem gliders. And I think I can consider it to be a quite okay takeoff if you are familiar with strong wind launches. In front here you can see the ridge, and after the ridge it directly goes down. So it's unlike the dune, where you find slightly increasing sloping. The wind should be 20 to 30 km, depending on your glider. It's also a nice place for a sundowner. And today we had a lot of wind, about 50 to 60 km, so only experienced mini-wing or small moustache pilots use this takeoff. Other pilots with mini-wings or small moustaches rather had chosen the dune itself for taking off, as the conditions there have been a little bit easier. Now let's have a look at the ridge itself. What a great view we find at the takeoff here. Here we can see this takeoff on the right hand side of my glider, where the red arrow is placed. This campsite directly at the dune is the best option for the pilots because there's a great overview of the wind situation. Sometimes already at 10 in the morning, sometimes at 2 in the afternoon, the conditions are getting flyable. Here in front of the campsite at the ridge, the situation can be observed perfectly. And sometimes there's also an advertising plane passing the campsite. Looking to the front, we can see the dune, and here on the right hand side, the most favorite takeoff is located, where also tandems are launching. But of course you can launch everywhere, and especially from down there you can also make it to the ridge in front of the campsite. So this here is the takeoff directly from the dune, where also the tandems are starting. So it's going nice down the dune here, pretty easy and straightforward. And getting out here means turning to the left, and then at the left. The takeoff area is huge, and depending on the strength of the wind, it is possible to launch a little bit further up or a little bit further down. But it is advisable to stick to the left. Here we can see a strong wind landing of a 13 Moustache. Starting a little bit further in the front would have saved me a lot of work. Here we can see the path to the main ridge on the left. Unfortunately, a lot of caution has to be taken because very often pilots are playing around at the bottom of the ridge, and it's quite hard to get over them. Here we can see the main ridge now, and we are on the level of the campsite. This is by far high enough to get further climb and to start the soaring trip. Once again, the whole journey with the Moustache. Cruising along the ridge, we are slowly approaching the second campsite takeoff. The second campsite takeoff basically is also an access to the dune. The only difference is that the takeoff is a little bit lower than the main takeoff at the Yellow Village campsite. But if the wind is a little bit stronger, you can also start from here without any problem. If we look at the whole ridge now, the main cliffs are about 750 meters of distance. It is possible to extend the soaring range over the dune depending on the glider and the wind situation. Getting down to Petit Nice would not be possible for the normal pilot in normal wind conditions because this area here is very difficult to cross. But of course, you could handle it along. One more look at the ridge. Landing is possible everywhere on the dune. Sometimes it's a little bit crowded. A final view at the whole area. To me, this is really a great place, and I hope you have enjoyed the video.